Let's talk about the obstacles the Biden transition team is encountering from the Trump regime. Then, let's talk about the need for transparency. Because showing we the people what in the world has been going on inside our federal government for the past 4 years, like justice, matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So we all know that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all of the incoming cabinet officials have an enormous task ahead of them. And I'm not talking about the coronavirus. Donald Trump has done so much to dismantle, degrade, destroy our federal government. You know, Donald Trump doesn't succeed at much, but tearing down the quality of our governmental institutions, at that he excels. I was reminded of the enormity of the task that President-elect Biden has when I was listening to his speech yesterday. Let me just quote a short passage of Joe Biden's comments yesterday. Quote, "We've encountered roadblocks from the political leadership at the Department of Defense and the Office of Management and Budget. Right now, we just aren't getting all of the information that we need. Truth is, many of the agencies that are critical to our security have incurred enormous damage. Many of them have been hollowed out in personnel, capacity, and in morale. Policy processes have atrophied or have been sidelined." And then he went on to talk about, quote, "the despair of our alliances and the disrepair of those alliances." Those words are beyond troubling. Frankly, they're terrifying. So here's the thing. Over the last 4 years, secrecy and self-enrichment have been the operational priorities of Donald Trump and his regime. And because of that, transparency and honorable government service must be, and I'm confident will be, the priorities of a Biden administration. But folks, I contend it's not enough to just say that, to just say transparency and honorable service will be Joe Biden's priorities. What I think the country needs, and quite frankly deserves, are weekly transparency updates about what Donald Trump and his corrupt regime have done to our institutions and to our relationships with our allies. You know, it's wintertime. Let's bring back the fireside chat, a weekly presidential fireside chat. A transparency update. What might that look like? Before I talk about that, let me just touch on the difference between accountability and transparency. They're equally important. Accountability for what Donald Trump and company have done to the country, to we the people, to the immigrants who came here yearning to breathe free, only to be thrown in cages, have their children taken away and thrown in other cages, many never to be reunited. For all of that, there must be accountability. But accountability takes time. Accountability takes grand jury investigations and indictments and trials and, in the event of conviction, sentencing hearings. Accountability, it's essential. I would contend it's non-negotiable if we are to repair the relationship between the federal government and we the people. There must be accountability, but accountability takes time. Transparency needs to begin on January 20th. Why the need for immediate transparency? Well, Joe Biden just told us. Donald Trump has been hollowing out, decimating our federal institutions. We already knew that Donald Trump has been attempting to degrade our national defense infrastructure, right? Putting lackeys and loyalists in key positions at the Pentagon, people who were in no way qualified for those jobs. Just like he put an anti-public education heiress in charge of the Department of Education, a coal lobbyist in charge of the EPA. Weekly transparency updates. Presidential fireside chats. Tell us what Donald Trump did to our country, to our institutions, because we know Donald Trump was all about secrecy and self-enrichment. Transparency, full, candid, timely transparency updates. They would also help us understand what the Republicans in Congress have been covering up, excusing, enabling, encouraging. So many reasons for transparency updates from President Biden. And one last thought. These weekly transparency chats could serve as a civics lesson for us, for our children, for our grandchildren. President Biden could discuss what each agency does, what Donald Trump did to each agency, how President Biden intends to fix that agency, and what the agency's priorities will be moving forward under a Biden administration. We have a lot to learn about our federal government. Department of State, Department of Education, Defense, Interior, Commerce, EPA, DHS, HHS, Energy, Justice. Like justice, transparency matters. So let's get after it, President Biden. And as always, folks, thank you for tuning in to these daily videos. If you would like to more formally support our all-volunteer efforts here, you can go over to patreon.com, sign up to become a patron, and if you do, I will send you some Team Justice stickers with a personal handwritten note of thanks. You can also find us on Facebook, Justice Matters with Glenn Kirshner, and of course on Twitter, all day and night, trying to answer your legal questions, at Glenn Kirshner 2 on Twitter. So as always, folks, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.